The history of pastoral China unfolded across vast ages. It represents a chapter in the never-ending quest for survival that has seen people reach for the highest mountain peaks, trek across the vast plains, fathom the depths of the ocean, and hack their way through dense forests. For generations, people have pushed boundaries and overcome limitations to find ways to feed themselves. Deep in the heart of the Taihang Mountains, these stone terraced fields sprawl across 200 square kilometers. The retaining walls alone stretch longer than half the distance of the entire Great Wall. For over 700 years now, generations of local people have been shaping this living, breathing landscape. First frost marks the arrival of Persimmon season. 6-year-old Xiaomi has joined the adults on the terrace fields for the first time. Though her father is the family's strongest laborer, the man in command of the harvest is her 86-year-old great-grandpa. The mountain paths are not an easy hike, so the family enjoy their lunch down here in the fields. Corn cakes charred to nutty perfection, with the perfect accompaniment, persimmons. After the first frost of the year, they now carry a much lighter, sweeter taste, making the perfect natural jam.
小蜜，快，过来，我给你整个原始的窝的。哎，行。来，小蜜，来，这块给他爷爷，老爷爷。哎，这个给老奶奶。哎。 大贝，哎，跳不呀？
跳。
你又跟着宝宝来地了吧？
是。
这是柿子树，这树啊，它第一扎根不深，土薄也能活；第二来说的话，它虽然根不深，但是它长得高，也不影响种地，而且它还耐旱。
The family's home village lies in the heart of the Taihang Mountains, the dividing line between the North China Plain and the Loess Plateau. The surrounding mountains keep out rainstorms from the southeast and the sandstorms from the northwest, leaving behind a parched and barren land.
完全地方没有平地，整个都是山区，地无3尺平，出门就爬坡，只有把实验垒起来了，然后上面才会出现一小节平的地方，才能种庄稼。
Since the 13th century, locals have terraced these slopes stone by stone, breeding crops as tough as themselves. The Wang family's modest acre of farmland is woven into the mountainside, with 40 odd plots spread across the slopes with a vertical drop of some 500 meters. Here, drought-defying millet reigns supreme as the chief staple crop.
就搁那儿住，就一直住玩。好的。呀。小苗也要照顾的。
小苗也得好好照顾，在这才能有米嘞。
快点起来，你们俩。娜娜，数起来啦。
Repairing the embankments is one of those jobs that never ends. On the terraced fields, the delicate soil layer ranges between only 20 to 50 centimeters at most.
石头多，土少，把土全部从石缝里边抠出来， 把这个石头就垫了下边的地，就垒了实验，剩下这种金贵的土就留到了梯田上边种粮食。
Chinese prickly ash, a drought-resistant tree, is planted along the edges of the embankments. Their strong root systems help bind soil and rocks together, while also trapping moisture after rainfall to prevent erosion.
哎，在这栽个酵素，牙就不怕了。
It takes 3 years for the newly planted saplings to bear fruit. Like persimmon trees, the centuries have transformed them into one of the backbones of this terraced landscape. The more than 200 prickly ash trees are the Wang family's main source of income. In fact, this is what helped pay for Hu Lin's college fees.
爸爸，快点啊！
哦，快点啊！
哎呀，我在这里摘完了。 就在他们旁边的好兄弟。哎呀，哎呀，闻一下。
When you compare with varieties grown elsewhere in China, you find that Taihang mountain pepper is more citrusy, more deeply fragrant, and lacking the numbing heat you find in, say, Sichuan peppercorns. As such, you find them traded all across northern China, including in big cities like Beijing and Tianjin. There's one classic home-cooked dish that showcases precisely how northern people like to enjoy these Chinese peppers. First, simmer the pork belly for 30 minutes. Next, glaze with caramelized sugar to add color and aroma. Meanwhile, scallions and ginger are mobilized to serve as the base, with Chinese pepper to brighten things up and a touch of star anise to elevate the fragrance. After that, braise on medium heat for an hour. Finally slice and place on a bed of dried Chinese peppers. Once the lot is drenched, it can be left to steam over a high heat for 60 minutes. Time enough for the flavors to work their magic. After hours of braising and steaming, the fat renders down, and the Chinese pepper, with its strong but not overpowering aroma, helps to tame the richness of the pork belly, bringing balance to this vibrant dish. During holiday season, this dish occupies center stage. Naturally, each household's own recipe is a closely guarded secret. While the Chinese pepper travels far and wide, the seeds are never wasted. They're used to enrich the lives of these terrace farming families in a variety of ways.
奶奶，你会不会抓鱼？
不会。
For centuries, Taihang people have extracted oil from Chinese pepper seeds. Although the ancient stone mills still grind away in some villages, they have mostly given way to more efficient electric oil presses.
Nana,
喂，
我要这个小的饼。
你要是下的饼，一会儿给你干着啊。
Chinese pepper seed oil carries an intensely spicy aroma, a mild, numbing sensation, and a subtle, nutty fragrance.
Nana, 你看我做的小饼。
那再切点葱。
With a sprinkling of fresh Chinese pepper, the magic of the mountains is breathed into this braised pork.
那爷爷吃肉。
啊，炒把鸡吧。
你吃大的吃小的？
我吃小的。
吃小的了，行，那我吃小的，吃小的。
鸡小的。
Such is the seasonal bounty of the terraced fields. Rustic, time-honored staples that have graced the dining tables of generations of mountain dwellers.
我可这面有了。小米好看不好看？
好看。小米和小米。
小米和小米。
In China, Mother Nature has not always been generous in providing food. Mountainous terrain dominates 2/3 of the landscape, while the hard-to-farm saline alkali soil sprawls across 100 million hectares of the land. At the mouth of the Liaoning River, where salt water meets the fresh water, lies a coastal salt flat stretching 2,000 square kilometers. However, during the so-called grain rain season, a resilient plant breaks through with tender shoots. For centuries, whenever famine struck, there was at least one thing people could pin their hopes on: a salt marsh seepweed. Nowadays, local residents continue the springtime tradition of foraging for this precious plant. Pinching off the tender top shoots does no harm to the seepweed. It'll take less than a week for new branches to sprout. After a quick blanch in boiling water, the greens are rinsed repeatedly and thoroughly squeezed to remove excess moisture and salt.
最好就包大菜饺子，搁点韭菜，搁点韭菜，搁点毛虾，多搁点黑牛，喜荤的这个生包子也行。
Crisp, al dente seaweed provides a taste of the ocean. With a short harvesting window of less than 20 days, this seasonal delicacy carries evocative memories for the families who have grown up on this saline soil. Clam meat is the classic pairing, which is elevated further with some fatty pork belly.
有馅越嚼越好，可乐。
Generously stuffed and steamed above fresh reed leaves, this is how the authentic Liaohe estuary seaweed dumplings are made.
还是以前的小时候味道。
是那味道，因为这菜
好了，你
是真菜。
太好了，大自然的馈赠。
This seaweed not only satisfies people's stomachs, but also serves as the starting point for an entire ecosystem on this once barren land. In autumn, the plants start accumulating a reddish compound called beta-cyanin. Not only does this help them thrive in the high salinity water, it also enables them to absorb thousands upon thousands of kilograms of salt every year, thereby driving down salinity levels and allowing reeds to grow. This also makes it possible for people to cultivate special salt-tolerant varieties of rice here. As the traditional Mid-Autumn Festival approaches, one little creature crawls its way into the spotlight under the moonlight. The Panjin alkali land crab, a species of Chinese mitten crab, was introduced into rice paddies 50 years ago. Under the darkness of the night, the sudden bright torchlight startles and slows its movement, making it easier to catch. Thriving in the place where inland rivers meet the sea, they have developed a briny sweet flavor, akin to the freshest of seafood. Panjin lies along what's deemed as the golden rice growing belt, blessed with abundant sunlight, significant temperature variations, and plentiful water. Through careful human botanical cultivation, over 5,000 hectares of saline alkali land here has now been transformed into rice fields. Though small in size, these rice paddy crabs boast flesh that is firm but tender. Even the shells never go to waste. The roe and paste are meticulously separated while still being kept carefully intact. The ginger-infused water helps to gently temper the crab paste. Inspired by traditional rural tofu-making techniques, the core essence is then strained right through. The crab meat dissolves, while the roe and paste returns to further enrich the broth. After readying the pan with some rice bran oil, the crab roe is sautéed with minced garlic and a splash of wine, fermented from the special alkali field rice. Each step is the build-up towards the arrival of a secret ingredient, golden crab juice. Regulating the temperature is crucial, as the proteins coagulate in a matter of seconds. Cooking these crabs is the apex of a northeastern crustacean cuisine that has taken generations to perfect. Over the past 3 decades, the coastline has steadily advanced a further 2 kilometers toward the sea. Saline flats have gradually turned into golden paddies. Once barren wastelands now thrive as bountiful farmlands bursting with potential. China's quest for sustenance has never been plain sailing, but even with rugged lands and climatic challenges to contend with, our ancestors nevertheless still found optimal solutions. How? The wondrous Wumeng Mountains, with an average elevation of 2,000 meters above sea level, hidden deep in the fir forests, a mysterious, shape-shifting organism is quietly at work. These coniferous woods, serving as natural reservoirs for the karst terrain, form unexpected greenhouses beneath their leafy canopies. In midsummer, Chen Xiaofeng enters the forest at 6 a.m. each morning. From their needle-fine beginnings, these fungi are now brimming with energy after 4 months of steady growth. As the piercing sunlight rapidly warms the forest, a protective layer of pine needles provides breathing space while shielding against the harsh light. Under this natural canopy, where the brutal humidity exceeds 90%, a miraculous transformation is about to unfold. Finally, it emerges. The Zhejiang red-veiled bamboo fungi. Only in the 1980s, when Chinese researchers first isolated strains from wild specimens, did it begin to journey from relative obscurity into a precious ingredient found in kitchen cupboards across the land. Like morning dew on a spider's web, the bamboo fungus's umbrella unfurls in a flash. Then, within just 3 hours, its spores liquefy and its lacy veil withers and vanishes. Across these 20 hectares of bamboo fungus fields, Chen Xiaofeng's first harvest blooms within a critical 15-day window. Every moment counts.
采花的时候收不能太重，你手重的话就把那个饼给裂碎了。
Newly bloomed bamboo fungi are incredibly fragile. Any mishandling can damage the vital sporocarp. Harvesting needs both speed and precision, leaving no margin for error. Every year, college students from the village return on their summer break to help with the harvest. For many first-timers, it's no easy task.
然后我们把这个菌头取下来封，然后这个叫菌盖。
菌盖。
菌盖的上面黑的这叫孢子粉。
孢子粉。
不能让这个孢子粉滴在这个菌柄上。左手拿着菌柄，然后把菌盖一起这样。好，漂亮。
Freshly harvested red-veiled bamboo fungi are crisp and sweet, perfect for eating raw.
吃起来好甜，
就像6月天吃雪糕一样，吃在嘴巴里面滑滑润润的。至今的这个红头猪真的是有股清香，是所有的猪身当中都没有的这个味道。
To preserve bamboo fungus, rapid drying is essential. During the drying process, moisture is removed. This makes the fungi undergo a slight browning, after which they take on a pale, almost golden hue. Their fresh aroma also fades, giving way to a deeper mushroom fragrance. Once dried, they can be stored at room temperature for up to a year. The cone-shaped cap also gets a makeover. After soaking in hot water for an hour, followed by a quick rinse, the spores attached to the cap come loose. At this stage, the cap resembles a honeycomb, earning it the local name bamboo tripe. No elaborate preparation is needed. Just throw in a few slices of fresh meat, stir-fry in vegetable oil, and the dish is ready. Simple but satisfying bamboo tripe, with its distinctive crisp yet chewy texture and fresh, savory flavor. Another way to enjoy bamboo fungus is when it's at the nearly hatched bamboo fungus egg stage. The reality is that this egg is packed full of the fungus's entire essence, nothing less than a little bomb of amino acid. The earthenware hot plate, offering the perfect blend of frying and searing, unlocks the full sizzling deliciousness of the bamboo fungus eggs. The result is a mouth-watering symphony of amino acids, a veritable explosion of rich flavor. During the exhausting harvest season, Chen never spares the finest ingredients. The top seasonal treasures of the Wumeng Mountains always take pride of place on her dining table.
太爽了。
This once ephemeral mushroom has now becoming a divine delicacy, widely enjoyed across all seasons and regions. Meanwhile, 2,000 kilometers away, an ancient tree species dating back to the age of the dinosaurs continues to thrive. At dawn, Xuan Xin-san and his parents set out for the mountain. A grueling 300-meter ascent, so steep that it's even a struggle for the boldest of young climbers. Shouldering a 9-meter-long, 40-kilogram centipede ladder, they push forward without rest. Torreya grandis, a species of conifer, first appeared in the Jurassic period, some 170 million years ago, and is distantly related to the well-known ginkgo tree. In a towering 17 meters, this one is so tall that it requires Xuan Xin-san to construct a vertical passageway between the ground and the canopy. Meanwhile, the elderly couple harvest the lower branches, carefully climbing up the trunk. After living together for decades, they can almost read each other's mind. The elder Xuan knows every Torreya tree on this land, especially this 800-year-old tree. During harvest season, he insists on being the one to personally gather its nuts. Only when he's sure that the ladder is absolutely secure does Xuan Xin Zan allow his father to use it.
他就放不下山上这种香榧树啊，他还是喜欢在山上。每年他就是一个季节一个季节会去打理它。这老大。
Torreya grandis has a 17-month reproductive cycle. This makes it rather unique in that it presents both mature drupes and young fruits simultaneously.
今年的果子，明年的果子同时长在一根枝条上。如果用工具的话，它会把明年的果子损坏掉，只能徒手的一颗一颗把它拆下来。
Of the world's 6 Torreya species, only Torreya grandis produces edible seeds, a hard-earned culinary privilege achieved 1,600 years ago through selective cultivation by those living in the Guizhou mountains. It is one of China's most celebrated arboreal accomplishments. Torreya trees grow slowly. They need at least 15 years before they bear fruit and only reach peak productivity after 3 decades.
我家最老的树有800多年，2、300年的树也有几十棵，还有20多年、40多年、70、80年的树也有一部分。因为它这个树呢是陆陆续续种下去的，爷爷种下去的香榧呢，要到生枝这辈呢能够收成。
These humble Torreya nuts embody centuries of patient stewardship passed down through generations of cultivators. The harvest is just the beginning. A relentless month of labor still awaits. The seed's fleshy aril must be removed by hand. Then comes the complicated after-ripening process, conducted through an age-old method. This daily routine ensures even temperature and humidity across the whole batch. Inside the shells, the abundant tannins in the seed coat gradually oxidize, shedding their bitterness. After 25 days, the Torreya nuts complete their post-ripening, and following a further 3 to 5 days of sun drying comes the most demanding stage. First, the nuts are salt roasted at 200 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. When nearly done, they are dunked in a cold brine, the thermal shock infusing their saltiness and loosening the kernel's skin. A further 10-minute roasting in the machine follows, and now, finally, the Torreya nuts are ready to eat. The Torreya nut has 2 symmetrical protrusions at one end. This unique mechanical feature makes it easier to position and crack open the shell. After years of growth and lengthy processing, the kernel embodies a complex array of aromas, woody, buttery and fruity, with a crisp yet rich texture and a long, mellow aftertaste. Torreya nuts also inspire chefs to unleash their inner creativity. Mandarin fish fillets stuffed with a mixture of crushed Torreya nuts and scallions, gently fried in vegetable oil over a medium heat. Ready in just 3 minutes. Torreya nut-stuffed fish rolls, delicately fresh, with an irresistible nutty aroma. Torreya mochi, or rice cakes, which replace the more common peanut and sesame fillings with crushed Torreya nuts. Each bite delivers a satisfyingly harmonious trio of texture and flavor, a sweet yet savory delight. All things grow and fade with the slow passage of time. Mindful of balancing the finite resources of nature, the Chinese people always choose conscious restraint. On May 1st each year, China's 4-month-long seasonal fishing moratorium takes effect nationwide, allowing marine ecosystems to recover. Yet, on dining tables, the transition goes unnoticed, as aquaculture seamlessly fills the gap as a sustainable alternative. The Changshan Islands of the city of Dalian are China's northernmost marine pasture zone. Here, Sun Guihua and his crew have just entered their busiest season of the year.
这个鳝鱼苗现在太小，这两天要长得比以前要好的快得多。
35-day-old scallop seedlings are sorted into 3 grades by size and placed in aquaculture cages. The seas here in the Changshan archipelago have an average annual water temperature of 14 degrees Celsius, benefiting from the warm and cold currents brought by the convergence of the Bohai and Yellow Seas. This natural mixing delivers abundant organic matter right to the scallop's temporary home, allowing them to feed on plankton and organic detritus. No artificial feeding is required at all. Guizhou scallops are a large cold-water species. Ideally suited to the waters of Changshan, they were introduced here from Japan back in the 1980s. Now the region accounts for over 90% of national output. With 18 degrees Celsius deemed the optimal growth temperature, getting them harvested before the summer heat takes hold is priority number 1. As scallop harvest season arrives, scallops can be savoured at their freshest and finest. Plucked straight from the sea and put on your plate, you can taste the soul of the ocean in every sweet bite.
好大呀！
哎，就吃这个丁是最好吃的，最新鲜。来，我再给你磕一个，你也尝尝。
这甜的。
对对。
好好吃。
Freshly harvested scallops require immediate handling. The processing plant, located adjacent to the pastures, utilizes seawater throughout the entire procedure, from cleaning to steaming, preserving that authentic marine essence to the greatest possible extent. All pieces of the scallop, from the white, fleshy adductor muscle to the outer skirt, will be utilized. This coastal workshop processes an amazing 100,000 kilos of live scallops every single day. In a carefully calibrated hot air drying process lasting 2 hours, the scallop adductor muscles are dehydrated. The result is an intense, well-rounded savory taste. The freshness of the scallops exquisitely preserved in dried form. The fishery kitchen is filled with a festive feeling brought by a good harvest. Fresh seafood is always a showstopper, turning simple-looking meals into irresistible eye candy. Ocean operations continue all year round. Down at these 20-meter depths, divers are harvesting 3-year-old scallops, the very ones Sun's team seeded 3 years prior. Here on the seabed, which is unaffected by surface temperature fluctuations, the scallops have a more natural, near-wild quality. During fishing moratoriums, harvesters are careful to avoid disturbing sea cucumbers and spawning conches. Within just 4 hours, these freshly picked Yeso scallops reached Dalian restaurants in peak condition. Those cultured over 4 years develop exceptionally plump adductor muscles. A light batter seared at low heat locks in the sweetness. The broth, simmered with dry seaworm, elevates the taste without overpowering the scallop's natural essence. Another favorite recipe involves dicing up the scallop meat and then pounding the mixture for an extra springy texture. This creative fusion blends 2 classic techniques, seen in the much-loved lion's head pork meatballs and in the Hangzhou-style fish balls, but reimagines it using plump scallop morsels. Next, simmer in the broth made of chicken and seasonal shellfish for 30 minutes, before a sprinkle of refreshing sweet peas adds the finishing touch. Cooked over the flames of a wood-fired clay stove, this spicy stir-fried scallop dish is a local treat that Sun and his crew simply can't get enough of. Scallops and oysters seared in a cast iron wok capture the rustic quality of the fisherman's fare.
这个特别肥。
真鲜。对，好吃，又咸又甜的。
Nothing like good food to soothe the soul after a hard day's toil. Against nature's sometimes unforgiving margins, the Chinese people have carved out a life between the mountains and the seas. Yet, in this age of culinary abundance, we return to ponder the more modest origins of agriculture and how humankind learned to work in harmony with Mother Nature to shape the pastoral landscapes that have sustained our civilizations for millennia. Wheat is one of humanity's earliest cultivated crops. Feeding over 1/3 of the global population, it still reigns supreme as the world's staple grain.
我们现在的小麦起源于3种野草，总共经过了2次多倍化过程。第一次多倍化就是野生一粒小麦与泥石白头山羊草做杂交，由2倍起变成了4倍起。又经过了好久的时间，又遇到了第3种草粗山羊草，它是小麦的第3个亲本。 我们叫它节麦，它是一节长的，它那个籽粒一节的，而且呢，它特别脆，你一碰它，它就会折断。你看一下啊，我轻轻的一动，你看，其实我就没有掰它，我轻轻的一动它，它就它掉了，看掉了，是吧？我们在这个小麦进化过程中，要把这个易脆，要把它改进过来。 还有把那个种子呢不容易脱粒的这个性状要脱离出来。我们经过了几千年的这个进化，然后呢形成了我们现在的，我们大家都能经常看到的这个麦穗。
Out by Beijing's third ring road, where every inch of land is precious, lies a special wheat field encircled by skyscrapers, awaiting harvest. The laborers here are scientists from the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences. This experimental plot, which has been cultivated since the 1950s, now grows over 1,000 different test varieties of wheat. Breakthroughs developed here have spread across China's major wheat zones. The ancient process of wheat domestication, once requiring centuries of selective breeding, has now been accelerated to mere decades. Being the world's largest wheat producer and consumer, China has long sustained a flour-based culinary culture. In northern China, endless variety of wheaten food testifies to people's devotion to it. Tianjin, a bustling northern port city whose people are brought together by a timeless culture of wheaten food. Here, chefs work magic with flour fried in soybean oil. This pastry is the soul of the city's distinctive baked goods. Semi-leavened dough, rolled to perfection, serves as the ideal canvas. Multi-layered flatbread with a crisp outer layer, permeated with a nutty wheat fragrance.
麻酱旁边那个吃不上？
小烧饼那个还有吗
？4个油酥烧饼。
来4个烧饼，麻酱烧饼是2样的哈。
到天津光吃烧饼，1个礼拜不重样，还真是豆尖儿的、红果的、甜尖儿的、芝麻烧、牛肉烧、羊肉烧。为嘛天津是这个面食王国
Here, the layered flatbread reigns supreme as the cherished staple of choice, pairing with almost any ingredient imaginable to create a meal that never disappoints. These flaky delights also happen to be desperately coveted by the opportunistic Siberian red-billed gulls. When winter approaches, these migratory birds return to the Haihe River. Locals' generous daily offerings of flatbread have won over these gourmet gulls, with this urban waterfront becoming their winter paradise. The way people handle the wheat flour is subtly in line with their living environment.
生活口无法令不变，也许呀就在眼前呀。
Tangshan, home to China's earliest mechanized coal industry, is another wheat stronghold on the North China Plain. It was against this hard industrial backdrop that the city's folk wheaten food tradition got taken to extremes. In the space of just a few minutes, a 600-gram lump of dough will undergo an unrecognizable transformation. The steamed flour loses its gluten elasticity, developing coarser granules than regular flour, the perfect solution for preventing the dough layers from sticking together. From what started out as a palm-sized piece of dough, it unfurls into a 2-meter wide, 6-meter long, double-layered noodle banner, all within the space of 5 minutes. Every speck of excess flour must be shaken loose. The chef's extraordinary skills are the result of years of practice and dedication. At their flour-dusted workbench, these trusty techniques are passed from master to apprentice, preserving the time-honored traditions. 15 delicate layers stack up, all with a combined thickness of less than 1 centimeter. Once evenly cut down the middle, these sheets reveal intricate floral patterns when flipped over.
你要捅的少了，一扎它都开了。
Fried at a sizzling 160 degrees Celsius, the dough flours crisp up instantly. Drained while piping hot, they're lavished with a golden syrup made of honey and osmanthus. The honey-glazed sesame crisp carries the warmth of time, embodying the ultimate vision and execution of flour-based artistry. Tracing the footsteps of food, we find that those flavors born out of adversity carry ancient wisdom passed down through generations. In this way, the dining table becomes an altar of survival, where the DNA of Chinese perseverance is served with every meal.